The mainstream media is at it again, spreading lies about flood victims in Florida after 2 major hurricanes. How do I know? Because they shot the footage in my hometown. They're pushing the narrative that everyone's fleeing Florida because every single house is underwater. That's just not true. Check it out.
It's that stress that happens before, during, and after hurricanes that have some Florida residents just saying they're done, throwing in the towel. They say the price of paradise is too much for them to handle, so they're getting out of the state and out of the way of Mother Nature.
Who thought it was a good idea to put trailer parks in hurricane zones? All other countries build with block, yet down here we have trailer parks right on the coast.
Fox 13's Evan Moon is live in Shore Acres in St. Pete tonight with more. Hi there, Evan. The insurance crisis also weighing heavily on their minds.
This one blows my mind. That's a picture of Tropicana Field where the Tampa Bay Rays play, and they only built this dome to withstand 115 mile-an-hour winds in a tropical storm area.
We're not going to probably move back into this house. It was very traumatic, and I don't ever want to go through this again. We've basically now moved out because we had to, and all our stuff's in boxes, so we actually have a contract on a new house. We're just not going to come back here.
My heart goes out to these people. Their homes were flooded and they lost everything. This is absolutely true, but I want to show you what the media is doing here. They're only interviewing people in a small section of town called Shore Acres, which is where I'm at right now. And when I moved to St. Petersburg, Florida 16 months ago, everyone told me, don't buy in Shore Acres because it floods all the time. Now, some of these people have probably flooded out 4 times in the last year. And that's just due to heavy rainfall, not because of all the hurricanes as well. So the news media is going into the most highly impacted area in our city and asking them if they're gonna move. Of course they are, they have to. Some of these people aren't allowed to rebuild because FEMA says if you have to remodel by over 50% of your market value, you have to bring the whole structure up to current flood regulations, which means you're gonna have to tear down your whole house and build a new one. Now, who's got the money for that?
It's more important for peace of mind for the future to move along and, sell the house for what we can get for it. But all this stuff has to be stripped down basically to the support beams in the house.
Chris says his family tried convincing him to leave the state, but he can't leave his law practice in the area.
Well, should I move home where I grew up? Could we move across the country? And for my profession, it keeps me in the area.
He plans to rebuild first, but a realtor tells me she's getting dozens of calls. Some folks are just selling homes still gutted.
The sad thing is, this can happen again. This area floods. That's why there's over 80 properties for sale right now in Shore Acres.
So they're very discouraged. And of everyone that I've met with so far, all but one are for sure going to sell.
Shore Acres is a beautiful neighborhood, and it's tragic these people have to go through this kind of an issue. But the truth is, they should move. I have a friend that bought a property here in Shore Acres, and he's flooded out twice in the last year, and his family's lost everything twice. It's tragic.
There's other issues, such as the values are increasing for areas that are not in the flood zone. Taxes will increase when they move, even with the portability, and they're very concerned about what is going to happen to their hazard insurance.
Did you catch it? She just gave you a hint at what's happening in the real estate market in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you're looking to buy a home or invest, you need to pay attention to little hints like that. She said the values are increasing for homes that are not in flood zones. I've been saying this for about the last 12 months.
For some, it's their 4th flood. I don't know how they stayed after the first one. I'm not interested in going through a second one.
So the media takes this small yet extremely devastated section of the population and asks them if they're gonna move and paints a picture that everybody's leaving Florida. No bueno. So my biggest question when I moved down here was, why are so many homes not hurricane proof? If you go to the Caribbean or any other country, they build with block. They don't build with wood or 2x4s like we do here in Florida, in the United States in general. So the good and the bad news is St. Pete hasn't been hit directly with a major hurricane in 100 years. That's the reason all of these homes are older and aren't built up to the current hurricane codes. because a lot of these spots in Florida that get wiped out by these hurricanes get rebuilt and are rebuilt to the new codes. So all those old homes are still standing. Mine was built in 1955. So when a major hurricane hits, it wipes out vulnerable homes, unfortunately, and then new homes up to code are built in its place. So a lot of these short acre homes are block, which is great, but they have first floor living like you can see here. So any amount of water is just gonna flood this living space. Now you gotta imagine these people had to deal with water up to here. So you can see how that flooded out these homes. So sad. I think the building code needs to change even more and not just require that the first 10 feet of a home be garage and made out of block and then allow people to build with stick or 2x4s on top of that. I think the whole structure needs to be block, and we need to take a page out of these Caribbean islands and other countries that build with block. So here's the truth the media is not talking about. The majority of the homes in the center of St. Pete did not flood. Our house went through both hurricanes and took on zero water. When we moved here, we didn't want to have to worry about flooding, so we went ahead and looked for a house in a no flood zone and no evacuation zone. And where we found was actually one of the highest points in the city of St. Pete. I also wanted brick-lined streets, palm trees, and no homeowners association. I didn't want to have to deal with that and pay extra. So the neighborhood we settled on was Central Oak Park, COP. That's where we live today. And yeah, there are streets in that neighborhood that have flooded as well. You got to do your due diligence, look for rivers, creeks, or streams, or things like that that could be a problem. But this area of Central Oak Park is going to be big money in the future, just like that woman said in the video. So here's how to find a deal in St. Petersburg. Look in short acres here, look for a flooded house, but you're going to have to tear it down and build a new one up to the current building codes. Let's look at a couple houses now. Here's 5700 Bayou Grand Boulevard Northeast. They're asking $425,000. That's a price cut of $75,000. This is a beautiful home. You can look through these pictures. You see they got a pool in back. And if you keep going down, you can see the damage. They've had to cut the walls and get all that crap out of there. As you can see, it was on the front yard. And just how devastating, but was absolutely a beautiful home. And now you will have to tear this down and build a new one. The next home is 1843 Oregon Avenue Northeast. They're asking $399,000 when I shot this video, and it's a price cut of $136,000. And this is a great little home, at least it was at one point. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,600 square feet. And looking through these pictures, it's a shame. It looks like somebody might have just rehabbed this. I mean, it looks too perfect. It looks staged to me. And what a shame for somebody to have this thing hit the market and it flood out. Again, this is a cash only rebuild or renovate, it says in the description. It would seem to me that this one would have to be tore down and rebuilt as well, but again, not an expert on this. Talk to somebody that could give you some more info. This is 4824 Huntington Street Northeast. This next one's a big home as well. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,300 square feet. They're asking $425,000. And they've already reduced the price by $134,000. This is an absolutely beautiful home. Again, it looks to me like it was just rehabbed, and it's got tile in the bathrooms, and it looks like somebody did just an incredible job with this home. This is such a shame because this is somebody's dream getting destroyed. And again, in the notes, it says investors, property needs repair, flooded by Hurricane Helene. This is absolutely so sad. And you can see all of these homes are in a race to the bottom to sell. So if you do buy one of these houses, you must build up out of the flood zone. And I suggest if they tell you 8 feet, build it up to 10. The bottom floor, roughly 10 feet, is going to be a garage, and then up above that is where you can start on the second floor for all of your living space. Also, another great idea, if you're working with a realtor, have them put you on a 30-day search. That way, any homes that sit on the market for 30 days or more are going to trigger an email to you, and you can go take a look. A lot of people that have been on the market for 30 days are ready to make a deal. And the market's actually taken a dip here in St. Pete, so you might even find more motivated sellers at this point. Because remember, when people see high days on market, they think there's a problem with the house. So most sellers panic when their days on market starts to get up near 30. Because by that time, they don't have any activity. No one's looking at their house. Now, the only way to bring buyers back looking at your home is to lower your asking price or negotiate an offer for a lower price. People are willing to make deals with higher days on market. If you're interested in buying a house in Florida and want more insider tips from me about buying right and buying in the right location, then check out this next video. I'll give you all the information nobody else is talking about. I'll see you there.